Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Imekho panabhante panchupadana khanda kim mulakanti iti. Dear friends in Dhamma, so last couple of months actually we discussed Atta Deepa Sutta, where Buddha explains what one has to do while keeping oneself as a refuge, oneself as an island. So the idea is we are keeping ourselves as a refuge, not looking outside for a savior, not looking outside for our safety, rather using this very body, feelings, perceptions, like those aggregates, knowing that as a kind of a refuge in a way. But on the other hand, now we hope to discuss another aspect of these five aggregates, and they are actually, it doesn't mean that when Buddha is saying Atta Deepa Vihirata Atta Sarana Ananya Sarana, that doesn't mean that we appreciate these aggregates or we are supposed to cling to these aggregates. Rather, as a in general common way of telling, okay, you be an island unto yourself. So that means that you are not looking outside for your refuge, but rather you find is within. There's a refuge within. Or you recognize Dhamma as a refuge. So typically there's a tendency in our mind to look outside for our safety, look outside for our salvation, something like that. But here Buddha's emphasis is always back to us. Buddha merely says that he is a mere teacher, he is mere a guidance. So he has given us the responsibility. So if we want, we can follow him. If we don't want, we don't need to. But he has shown the path. It's a kind of a mature way of telling things. So sometimes if we simply force the people, okay, you should follow this, you should do this, that's another way of persuading people to follow a particular religion. That is also there. So in certain religions, they are like that, forcefully using the weapon, probably they are forcing the people to follow it. But Buddha never has done that. So Buddha is quite open, and he has shown the path. Okay, these are the Dhamma. So this is what I am mentioning. So if you are ready, you are welcome. You can see for yourself. Very much like Dhamma is inviting. Hey Hipassiko, come and see. Put me into practice and see whether you yourself can understand the reality. It's a very, very matured way of telling it. But many people can't understand in that sense. So they want someone to guide, they want someone to save them. So always expecting someone else's interruption or interference. And they appear like always helpless, like sinners. And there is a mighty person, so who is there to help me? But Buddha is going against or away from this kind of a model. Rather, he says there is no such person. I also just strived myself. I went through these difficulties. Sometimes I went completely wrong path. Then I have given it up. Then I have found the middle path. Now this is the middle path. You also can try. It's a very mature way of presenting it. So once we are interested, once we are convinced and we have enough faith, then we are putting some effort. Can I try? Can I put some effort to see whether is it working for me? Something like that. Now, so while Buddha was living in the Megaramatu Pasada, which was built by the Visakha, so that is a day of the full moon. It's a full moon Poya day. And there he is staying outside the open space. So quite often Buddha has done that. So probably you can remember very well-known sutta, the Anapanasati Sutta, the same situation. Buddha was dwelling with the monks in the Migaramatu Pasada, the place where Visakha has built. But rather than he being inside the monastery in the sense the kind of a, say, vihara, a shrine room. So he, with the monks, he's just taken, everybody is out, open space. So it has some indication because now if you are always bounding yourself, restricting yourself to a very limited area, to your room, to your house, so your mind becomes somewhat constrained, not being able to look out, not being able to open up, very much like a very narrow-minded in a way. But while you are in the complete open space, so no limit in a way. Mind has no boundary, so you can look very far. So it has a certain spiritual advantage. Probably some of you may have certain experience, so as you are progressing, it is not the kind of luxurious kind of setup that always beneficial, but rather very simple, open setup. Mostly beneficial for the opening of the mind. It is not that you are in a AC room that matters for your meditation, but how natural the setup is, how open the setup is, how close to you are with the environment, how far you being a part of the environment, or the whole universe. You being alone but not being feeling lonely, something like that. So these are very interesting way of, we can even with these presentations, we can see how Buddha and the Sangha, even though the monastery, the apartments and whatever, the kutis are available, but this beautiful suttas Buddha has delivered while being in the open space, surrounded by the bhikkhus, and it's a full moon day, the whole bright moon is there, and now a kind of aesthetic feeling is there. Now they are meditating. Now one monk is interested of asking questions in this Punnama Sutta. Full moon day. The sutta name is also Punnama, the full moon day. So he raised up from his seat and he pay respect to the Buddha, and he is respectfully asking the Buddha, taking the permission, Bhante, if you are okay to answer my questions, I like to ask several questions. Then Buddha permits. Buddha say, okay, monk, you can sit. While you are being seated, you can ask whatever you want. Then he asks a series of questions. Imeko pana bhante panchupadana khanda. So basically he started asking about the five aggregates. Bhante, are these the five aggregates? The form, the clinging aggregates of form, the feelings, perceptions, formations, consciousness. Am I correct? Are these the five clinging aggregates? Then Buddha says, yes, these are the five clinging aggregates, the form clinging aggregate, the feelings which are subjected to clinging, perceptions which are subjected to clinging, formations which are subjected to clinging, consciousness which are subjected to clinging. So today we will take the first one, basically the form aggregate. But the first discussion is very general. So he is asking a series of questions which are common, general to all the aggregates. And then he asks, Imeko pana bhante panchupadana khanda kim mulakati. So what is the root cause on which these five aggregates are rooted? Clinging aggregates are rooted. Imeko bhikkhu panchupadana khanda chanda mulaka. So they are rooted on desire. So basically we can see the aggregates are there, but now they are rooted with desire, then they become clinging aggregates. So that means we don't need to cling them. This is a kind of an additional thing that we are imposing onto them. Then we can say they become the clinging aggregates. And we make a kind of a mistake in a way. So they are there, but we additionally cling to that because of our own kind of ignorance. Tanchenuko bhante panchupadana khanda. Tanchenuko bhante upadanante panchupadana khanda udahu anyatra panchupadana khandehi upadananti. That was a very slight question, a difficult type of question. So he is asking, Bhante, is this clinging and five aggregates are entirely different things, or are they the same? So when there are clinging aggregates available, so the clinging is entirely different from them, or what is it? Then Buddha say, desire and lust for them, that is the clinging there. So we need to recognize in ourselves how a desire, how a attachment, how a kind of a inclination happens to them in a way. So this is something that we need to observe, that we need to recognize within ourselves. Then siyakopana bhante panchupadanaskandhesu chandaraga vemattatati. So is there any kind of diversification into this kind of a lust and desire to these five clinging aggregates? Kind of a diversification. Then Buddha says, yes, there is that. Ida bhikkhu ekacchassa evang hoti. Evang rupo siyang atita maddhana, anagata maddhana. Evang vedano siya anagata maddhanam, evam sanyo siya anagata maddhanam, eva sankharo siya anagata maddhanam, evam viññāno siya anagata maddhanam. Now we have certain desires, some projected desires. Now these five clinging aggregates, we are not only clinging the present moment, but we have kind of projected desires also. I am going to do like this, I am going to become like this. So in a way we can connect this with the second noble truth. So that is the craving. So craving has different attributes in a way. Craving has different tastes. The typical, easy to understand taste is the mere kama tanha, where we like to see sights, like to hear sounds, beautiful sounds, what are, say, enticing us, delighting us. Say we like to have kind of a smell which are beautiful. We like to enjoy tastes and like to go through certain tangibles. So these are normally we all can understand the five, what we call the sensual chords, panchakama guna, sight, sound, smells, taste and tangibles, and that is what we are fighting for, contesting each other to have as much as possible to sort of gratify the senses using beautiful sights, using the sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, kama tanha. But on the other hand, if we consider the bhava tanha, that is in a way little different and difficult to even understand unless we see deeply in our mind. So easily we can understand, okay, I have a desire to a car. I have a desire to a house. I am looking forward to build a house. So you are imagining about it. So you are desiring it. Or currently you have something and you are constantly have thoughts about it. Say you are having a child now. So you are constantly having kind of a motherly love, parently love you have. Constantly you are occupied with that. That we can easily understand how much I am attached to my son, how much I am attached to my daughter. So whatever, your father, mother, whatever it is, or your husband, wife, whatever it is. So how much attachment is there, still coming under the kama tanha. Maybe to a kind of a higher position, okay, you are attached to your position, to your wealth, to your reputation, All that also can be considered as the kama tanha. But the bhava tanha is more subtle in a way. So we are always kind of looking forward. So there's a little plan always to become a Sotapanna. That's also a little plan, by the way, not a bad one, by the way, that's needed. That's also a kind of a desire driven. It's a kind of motivating us to drive in the path. That's in a way a good one, but mostly what we have is something different, where I want to become the best, I want to become the most beautiful, I want to become the winner, I want to become the boss, I want to become the CEO, I want to go to the next level. Always looking forward for a kind of a becoming is there. We are driven by that desire in a way. So the kind of a desire to become. Very subtle. So if you are looking at your own mind, so what is driving you? Can you recognize any desire apart from sights, sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles? There's a kind of a driving force in the mind, always looking forward, kind of a future plan. I want to become. Something like that. Kind of mind is inclined towards something. Futuristic event. Futuristic designation. Futuristic kind of a person. Currently you are somewhat unsatisfied. I am not good enough. I am not yet a Sotapanna. I am not yet an Arahant. So I want to become. So there's a kind of an inner unrest always happens because of this. Not totally contented, but looking forward for something. Now here, somewhat connected with that desire to become, so this Vemattata, this diversity, Buddha explains with respect to such kind of a futuristic event. So you're looking forward to futuristic forms, feelings, perceptions, formations, consciousness. Currently you are going through, the 5 aggregates are already available, but for the future also you have a kind of an inclination. You're always looking forward. Sometimes it's called bhavanetti. So that is what actually driving us even to the future life. Say even at the death moment you are not ready to give up everything, but you are looking forward. So you get the next life, next birth. So with the package you get the death and all that. So that is available with the package. You can't have only the beautiful ones. So the both, everybody is included, coming as a bundle, no escape. And then this monk further asks, Kittavatanuko bhante khandanam khandhadi vachananti. Why is it called aggregate? Khandha. Why is it called aggregate to this? There we get a comprehensive answer from the Buddha. Yankinchi bhikkhu rupang atitanagata pachuppannang ajjattang va bahiddava olarikang va sukumang va hinang va panitang va yandure santike va ayangucchati rupakhandu. So we'll take only the rupakhandu this time. So it is not mere what you recognize within your body, but it becomes an aggregate because it's a fairly vast whole materiality in a way. Whole materiality. So you can have a desire to anything in a way. So you can have a desire to this clock. You can have a desire to a car which is outside while you are coming here. You might have seen it, notice it. Probably have a desire to that. So likewise, so you can't see a limit in a way. And it could be even what you have experienced in the past. Could be, as I said, a kind of futuristic one. And even the present one, what you see right now, what you hear right now. So you are hearing a beautiful song and you can have a desire to that. That is also coming under the Rupakkhandha, Rupupadanakkhandha. Don't think that the Rupa here means only the sights. So Rupa here means completely the materiality. So it has the Rupa Rupa, Saddha Rupa, Gandha Rupa, Rasa Rupa, Pottabha Rupa. So all are there. All 5 sense cords are coming under the Rupakkhandha, Upadanakkhandha. And you can have a desire, you can have a lust towards any kind of such sights, any kind of a sound, any kind of a smell, any kind of a taste, any kind of a tangible sensation. So it's a vast area. So our mind can attach to many, many things. It's not a single thing, very limited area. A vast area is available. And it is not only not only the present tense, even to the past, even to the future. You can imagine and attach. You are looking forward. That is also there. The desire to become is quite practical in that sense. Say someone is telling they are marketing, okay, our next model is coming on 2025. Say they are marketing, they are simply saying, okay, these are the features of the new phone. So if you lost it, it may coming to you quickly. You don't need to worry. It has an artificial intelligence. Quickly there are 2 legs are coming out, make the sound, and they quickly come to you. The futuristic model. And I have seen a little thing made in Japan. So there's a kind of a AI tool, and it's kind of a, say if you are going to a supermarket, you can put all what you need to that, like a cart. It behaves like that. And while you are, pushing it and go, if you feel tired, it turns into a 3-wheeler like thing. It has 2 little wheels at the back and 1 wheel on the top. You can get on to that. It will drive you through the supermarket. Very beautiful. I mean, how people are very creative in a way. So the futuristic kind of a cart. So you don't need to worry. And then while you are looking at here and there, it will simply follow you. You don't need to worry. It will carry everything and it will simply follow you. You are simply looking at, watching this and that, and you search things. It's next to you, and you don't worry that you drop the item. It is there. And once you feel tired, you can simply sit on that, and it will turn to you need to little press a button. It will do a very smooth adjustment. Now the seat is available. You can get onto it, and you can drive through. And driven by a cell, a cell, so fairly good. So once you are showing that, why not have that, isn't it? So probably our supermarket chain may order that. You can look at in the YouTube, I have seen it. It's real, available, maybe in Japan. Later in Sri Lanka, don't know, 2049. When we become the developed country, probably available. So we can look forward to that. So the kind of sights are there, sounds are there, all that. Some materialistic brands are there. So the marketing people can give you a kind of a perception, develop such thing. Then you look forward to that. You are imagining that, thinking about it. It's a very vast area. Our mind can expand and go and attach to something futuristic even. And as this Elon Musk is ready with the space travel, probably in the future, we can have a picnic to the moon. Why not? So going to the moon population and have some arrangement there. So you visit the wedding in the moon and coming back. Say about 50 years ago, have you ever imagined that you are going to a wedding in Australia or somewhere and coming back? You couldn't imagine even such thing. You may come to Colombo, the maximum, say 100 years ago, to participate in a wedding. But now people even go to another country to participate in a wedding. It's a normal thing. So going to the moon to participate in a wedding, who knows? maybe Mars, once they prepare the population there, inhabitants there, maybe possible. Who knows? So we can imagine such things and we can have a desire. So the desires are in that sense. So the future material things are there. So you can imagine that, you can have a desire for that. So Atita, past, Anagata, the future, Pachuppanna, the present. So there's a huge, vast area, even with these tenses, past, present, future. So it's an aggregate. It's a vast area. It's not just a little thing. It's a vast area. Then Ajjattanga Bahiddava. So internal and external. So what we use for our typical meditation, starting with, is the internal aggregate. So you are trying to recognize when we are walking, how the body moves, how it vibrates, how it touches, maybe the hardness, maybe the softness. So a very refined way, we are trying to recognize the manifestation of the Rupa Khanda. And that explanation actually comes later. Konuko bhante hetu ko pacchaya Rupa Khandasya Panyapanaya. For the made known to this Rupa Upadana Khanda, this form clinging aggregates, so what is the reason or what is the cause? There Buddha mentioned, Chattaro ko bhikkhu mahabhuta hetu, Chattaro mahabhuta pacchayo, Rupa Khandasya Panyapanaya. So the this Mahabhuta Rupa, the four great elements, so they are the cause, they are the reasons for this form aggregate to come to being. So they are the designing or the generating, the genesis happens of this whole matter because of these four great elements. So that's another way of putting in the Dhamma. Now today we know that through science, through physics, they might say, okay, these are the all different kinds of matter available, and these are the protons, these are the electrons, these are the photons, this and that. But once they come together, okay, this behave like this, and then we say, okay, this is a car, this is a lorry, this is a bus, whatever. But internally, these are the matter available. So that's a scientific way of explanation. But previously, according to the Buddhist teaching, this is more into the solidity, the patavi, more into the watery, the what we call the apo, more into the heat, tejo, and to the movement, motion, that is the air. So these are the most primordial kind of characteristics of the matter. Important thing is you don't need a microscope or any other scientific instrument to know this. What you need is a mindfulness and a concentration, then you can know this. So that's why in the Buddhist teaching you don't need any kind of an instrument for you to meditate, for you to understand the whole five clinging aggregates. What you need is a certain spiritual skill. Say the mindfulness is required, so the mind has to be in the present moment. Presence of the mind, full awareness. You are aware what is happening right now. And it has to be well collected. Your concentration should be available. The mind has to be well focused. And the proper balancing is necessary. So the apparatus is now ready. Now you can see things as they are, right now. So this is a kind of an experiment in a way, kind of a scientific approach. So, ajjatta. So when it comes to ajjatta, so internally, so if you are putting your attention to internal body, so there you can recognize how this solidity manifests, how the watery, the fluidity manifests, how the heat manifests, and how the motion, the vibrations, the movements manifest. So you can see the manifestation of the the four great elements are there, so that you recognize as the body. This is my body. This is my body. But if we can recognize at least as my body, that is also some advanced thing. Rather than telling that, okay, this is I am. That is how we recognize. That's the next fiction actually. So how the personality view happens. So the uninstructed person doesn't have any idea about it. He doesn't know how to look at it properly. So he immediately says, here, I am here. So he can simply say to the body, he can simply touch the body and he simply say, this is I am. So that's what typically how we recognize ourselves. So are you recognizing yourself with your mind or are you recognizing with yourself through your body? So when you are going to marry a woman, which one have you seen? Did you see her picture or you asked her to explain her character? Which one have you given the priority? When you are choosing a partner, what have you given the priority? To her or his body, or to her or his vision, spiritual qualities? Have you ever thought of that? During our young age, simply go for the look, outer appearance, rupappamana. So basically the body plays a huge role in our material world. So that's why the outer appearance is so critical. So that's why once you go to the supermarket, why they are spending so much of money for the appearance, how well that the particular product is presented, using a beautiful wrapper. Now say a soap is there, but how much money is used to wrap it, beautifully present it. So all actually the rupa, the matter, it matters actually, matter matters. That's what we give more marks for the appearance. And so for yourself also you give a lot of marks for your own appearance. That's why we take care of that. That's why we wear clothes, as you already mentioned, to attract others, to show off ourselves. So that is how we behave. Can't help. That's how the culture, the society has conditioned the mind. So they expect a certain kind of appearance from us. So if we are not following that, so we feel, they feel that we are kind of absurd or gone out of the mind. So you have to behave in that way. You need to go ahead with the typical wave, and that is how we behave, and we simply say, okay, this is I am. And in your identity card, so that's what they take, it's the bust, the appearance, the face, that. So that's what matters, even the passport. So the body is the immediate attraction we have, to which we strongly attract, strongly adhere, strongly attach, and we consider the body as myself. Rupang attato samanupassati. Strong sakkaya ditthi. So the strong sakkaya ditthi is nothing but the body. Sometimes we can't even believe it. Until we start meditating, we don't look at it as an outsider. We are basically there. We can't even believe that to look at as an outsider unless we practice. So the mindfulness practice helps us to have that second perspective, a different perspective. Rather than completely trapped in the body, while allowing the body to naturally walk, now you come outside and allow the body to naturally walk, and now you start observing. So that's an entirely different way of looking at things. So far we identified this body as myself, and you don't even refer this as the body, this as me, myself. Later you say, okay, there is a mere body now walking. Attikhayotiva panassa satipacchupattita hoti. You can see even that is a great achievement. So you simply allow the body to walk, and you step back and see how beautifully body simply can walk. You don't need to interfere. You don't need to have a strong presence of I for the body to walk. Body knows how to walk. And even some people walk while sleeping. Even the body knows how to walk, even you are sleeping. See, sleepwalkers are there. So they can do that. They even can kill someone and come, but they are sleeping. So, interesting stories are there. And body knows how to breathe while you are sleeping. And body knows how to digest what you have ate during the night at your dinner while you are sleeping. Say, if you have to consciously participate in the digestion, what would be the kind of a whole world would like? If you pay some, your attention being diverted to something else, the whole thing become undigested. So we have to have everywhere the hospitals. Because mind gets easily distracted to something else. So the body takes care of itself. So we now allow that in a way. So rather than interrupting it in a way, and rather than identifying it, so we simply allow the body to, okay, you take care of yourself. I will simply look at you in a way. It's like an outsider. Na tumhaka. It's not me, it's not mine, it's a mere body. Let the body walk. Let the body sit. Let the body breathe. Let the body allow its typical processes. So you are like an observer, neutral observer, you now have the capacity to watch. So entirely different way of looking at things. Rather than interrupting the process, rather than saying this is me working, I am working, or my body working, even at least, simply allow it to walk, allow it to process, allow it to digest, or whatever the blood circulation, the breathing, rising and falling, many things to happen, but you are watching it. We have that capacity. And once you start knowing it, once you do that for a long time, you understand what's really going on. And this so-called 4 great elements you can recognize from the body directly. Not through the book, but you can feel it, you can touch it, you can feel it, experience it. Hardness is not something difficult to experience. Softness is not something difficult to experience. Roughness, smoothness, heaviness, lightness, so these are available. Then the movements, vibrations, these are available. That is what this body is in a way. Even though we give a name and we have given a relationship, we attach to it, the body doesn't know that this fool is attached to me. Isn't it? So we are the fools in a way. For the time being, say we as someone else attached to this dumb body. The dumb body doesn't know that this fool is expecting something from me, telling that I am him. He may be joking me. The body may be joking us. What a fool this fellow is. So we expect, okay, this should remain very beautiful and very healthy and should live for 100 years without any issue, not getting any cancer, not getting diabetics. And there is no any agreement as such. With the body and yourself, there is no any agreement. So at any age, differences, changes, challenges, diseases, anything can happen. Very, very vulnerable. So once you start knowing, experiencing this fact, using the body, having a direct experience, as an experiential knowledge, now you can even apply it to the Bahiddha. Now even the outside you can see how fragile, how uncertain, how changing, how vulnerable. You have seen it, you have developed mindfulness, sharp mindfulness using the body, fair amount of concentration using the body, fair amount of wisdom using the body. Now it's quite obvious once you look at outside, that is also very similar. You don't need to practice as such, taking certain external matter to look at it, because you have done a fair amount of exploration using this very body, what we call the ajjata, the internal body. That is your field of experiment, and that gathered experiential knowledge is so powerful, you can see even the outside the same situation. Ajjatta Bahidda. Then further Buddha elaborates, Olarikangva Sukumangva. And sometimes we categorize. Now these are different ways of how we look at things. We see things as internal, we see things as external. So I am here, you all are outside. Okay, this is me, I am inside. And everything else is outside. So this is how we categorize things. And so the important thing is, whatever you consider as inside, that is also coming under the form aggregate. Whatever you consider as outside, that is also coming as the form aggregate. All materialistic ones. And whatever you consider as rough, gross, that is also coming under the form aggregate. And whatever you consider as refined, very soft, that is also coming as the form aggregate. So our mind tends to do this kind of a classification, this kind of a categorization. That is quite easy for us to attach, easy for us to give some value, excessive value, additional, exaggerated value, telling, okay, this is beautiful, this is attractive, this is internal, this is external, this is gross, this is refined. So all that are mind-made in a way. So these are our value judgments. We project all these value judgments to the outside, this whole materialistic realm, materialistic world, and some part we say this is beautiful, good, some other part we say not beautiful, I don't want. But everything comes under the form aggregate. Either it is refined, either it is gross, still coming under the form aggregate. And then hinangva, panitangva. There may be ones that you consider as very inferior, I don't like it, it's no use, no value, inferior. And some other things you say it's extremely superior. Like if you go to on the way back to the Bulatvita Kade, it may be inferior. Once you go to the 7-star hotel, superior. But matter, form aggregate. Both are form aggregate. A typical hardware shop coming under the inferior, maybe a 7-star Hilton and all that, that's also not yet 7-star. Still coming as considering as the superior, all are by the way form aggregate. So we actually have imposed all these classifications, value judgments, because of our judgments, but in general, all coming under the matter. Yandure santikeva. So there may be certain things which are close to you. So maybe your house, maybe what is currently close to you, you can touch it, you can feel it, coming as the form aggregate. And there may be something very, very far away, in the moon, in the Mars, in the Jupiter, whatever, still coming as the form aggregate. So you can see, so when Buddha explains this kind of 11 dimensions, so you have nothing to exempt from this. Whatever coming under the matter is included in this form aggregate. So that's the thing. But important thing is we can have an attachment to any of these areas. That's a problem. We think, okay, I have an attachment only to what I am close to, what I like to, what is more refined, what is more internal. No. So you may be attached to someone you have never known several years ago, but without him, without her, you can't even live right now. You don't know about him or her several years ago, but now, today, you can't live without him. You can't live without her. Say, assume that you have a child, you have a son, daughter. Few years ago, only he came to birth. Do you know him? Before your marriage, do you know him? No. So after the marriage, say after a couple of years, he or she born to a family. Now without him, you can't even live. So whatever we haven't currently seen, now we can immediately get attached, maybe in the future. Whatever we don't know right now, which is not closer to you, you can attach in the future, which may be remaining in the very far, still you can attach. So attachment has no limit. So our tanha has no limit. That's why even in the moon, if there is a, what's that, janavasa, what's the English term? Habitat? Kind of a habitat, if they establish, definitely they will market it, and you may have a desire. No argument. Definitely. You may earn money to go there. It becomes the kind of an achievement in the future. And they may market telling, okay, now the earth has really polluted, and there you have the really fresh air. It's closer to the another planet, and you can have a quick self-rotation going on very quickly. So it's a completely different environment. You can play volleyball without injuring yourself. It's very low gravity. Many things they will look at to market. Why not? Let's go there. And probably we can start the cricket team is there, now they are visiting here to have the moon team and the earth team. What not? So no limit. So if you look at your mind, so the desires have no limit. We are still talking about the matter, the materialistic world, no limit in a way. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. So it's growing, and you can't imagine even what the kind of a potential is there for these attachments, for these desires. And the next question actually we can further discuss is that he is directly asked, Katannuko bante sakkaya ditti hoti. Ida bhikkhu asutava putujjano ariyanang adassavi ariya dhammassa akovido ariya dhamme avinito. Sappurisanang adassavi sappurisa dhammassa akovido sappurisa dhamme avinito. Rupang attato samanupassati. Rupavantang va attanang. Attani va rupang rupasming va attanang. Now, with respect to any of these vast amount of rupa, vast amount of different forms, you can recognize this as me, immediately as myself. Or you can simply say, this is my body, this is myself, or this is belonging to me. Kind of a possessiveness is there. Say you have come today with your car, for example. You can simply say, oh, this is my car. Why did you knock on that? So you can have an argument. My car is so expensive. Your car is just garbage. So you can have an attachment saying it is mine. So you have a possessiveness. So there also you going through a kind of a compactness, and you being one person, that being another thing, and that thing belongs to you. Sakkaya Ditti has a great relationship with this compactness. So that's why as we continue our practice, so this compactness has to dissolve. It has to in a way disappear, it has to dissolve. And even when you do the practice of elements meditation, this compactness has to dissolve. And another important way of assessing your practice is, are there any continuous images of these different matter, different, say, materialistic realm popping up in your mind, appearing in your mind? always bugging you, always occupying the mind? Or are you free? Are you free from these all matters? Now say for example, you are imagining of buying a car, imagining of buying a new phone. Say how much of images of that product come into your mind? Is your mind occupied with that? Are you planning that? So you are now planning to go to a new house. Assume that you have rented the house so far, but now you are able to save some money and now you are moving to a new house. And how much of planning is going on? And all those images are slowly occupying the mind. So mind has no any space. So what are the ingredients in your mind? In terms of the images, in terms of the sounds, smells, all that. So how the mind being occupied? So typically, if you are in love with someone, so that person's appearance, images, constantly occupy your mind. If you are in love, if you are attached to your house, car, your profession, your job, a particular place, what you have visited, a particular country that you want to migrate, many things are there. So you start imagining, you start thinking, all that images start popping up in your mind, occupying your mind. You are not free. So mind is completely kind of cluttered with all that. Now when you are giving names to all that, so basically very easy for you to get attached. So this compactness, the Ghana Sanya, is a one strong reason for us to have Sakkaya Ditthi. So either it may be internally you feel you as a person, I am a person, this body is me, myself, belong to me, as a one complete unit. Very easily you can attach to it, personifying it. Or you are externally, you have something, your house, car, this and that, not knowing the kind of their true nature, objectifying that, taking it as one unit. This is my house, this is my car, this is my son, this is my daughter, this is this thing, that thing. So we are continuously, as a result of this compactness view, we are attached. Easily we can attach. So the practice in a way at one point has to completely sort of break this compactness in a way. Say at one point, as you are continuing your practice in the anyone's meditation, at a given moment you may have to feel kind of a destruction of this compactness. Everything has become collapsed. You can't rebuild a compact body. At the beginning, say you are easily able to, once you close your eyes, you can easily imagine, you can have an entire body frame, the boundary of the body well established as something in your mind. But as you continue the practice, later, elements meditation, at a later you can't see such thing. You can't find a boundary once you close your eyes. Boundary has become blurred. Something like that. And typically we can have different images of different objects. Say that's why I have taken an example. Say you are wanting to buy a car. Very sharp image with perfect boundaries, with perfect lines. Maybe very sharp image easily you can have in your mind. But as you continue Vipassana, so that image might not appear so vivid. So kind of mind start erasing things in a way. Rather than the compactness, now you can't even impose that compactness into your mind now. Something like that. So the compactness plays a huge role into this Sakkaya Ditthi. That's why people say take a photo and they keep it, they look at it, see it again and again. So they like that, and they show, this is me, this is myself, this is my wedding photo, or this is my graduation, this is our group photo, this and that. Here you are, here me. You see, that's next to me, that fellow. He passed away recently, but I am still there. I am there, by the way. You can see the photo, group photo. He's here. How smart I am. So you can easily, quickly put to that photo and immediately recognize the sense of I coming out. So the example given also something similar. So Buddha say, so there's a water available and you go and peep onto that and you see the reflection, myself. I am there. Previously there was no strong sense of I, but now pops up. So we need to trace that. So that's the practice in a way. It is not that every time this sense of I is popping up, but time to time it's coming out. So how often are we subjected to this sense of I? How often are you feeling the sense of I? Interesting thing is, people like to feel sense of I. That's why they are going for extremes. That's why they are going for excitement. That's why they are going for roller coaster, going through all that exciting, surprise things. They feel strong sense of I. They prefer that. They like that. They feel the sense, I am there. I am living. I am a special person. So that's why you prefer, if you are using Facebook, right? So you prefer how others are appreciated what you have posted, how many likes are there, how many this are there, how many that are there, how often your statement being highlighted. Good. So we like that. We want that. I want that my preachings to be highlighted. A sense of I. So then next day also I will come to Kalalgoda. More likes are there. Many views are there. So we like the sense of I. And we say it's mine, it's me, and I like that. And you see that how stupid ways that people are trying to have that sense of I. Say a politician, how much they want that. Purposely they even give something, lunch packet, or they want to say, I really like that, you are the boss, you are the next this and that, all that. So we really love that, we really like that, and strong personality views there, we continuously promote that. But once you feel no sense of I, you feel lethargic, you feel like defeated, you feel like kind of a monotonous, there is no go in your life, committing suicide. Self-hate is coming, or the opposite. Still there is a person, by the way. Hate is not a reason, rather for a solution. Hate is another way of strongly having personality view. A kind of a dangerous way. So you are hating, and you are hating another person. How dare he do this to me? I is there. Strong I is there. Hate or desire, both promoting a self. All the defilements in particular, in general, promoting a self. Not only that, even too much thinking, promoting a self. If you are looking at, actually this is not the today's topic, by the way. Once you did the task, how often the thoughts are coming, promoting a self. So thoughts are coming not in a way accidentally, rather it has a little purpose, has a kind of a chance given from your side, because you like that self-promotion. You like that kind of a self-praise. See, you did something very good, very attractive, others are so impressed. And next once you go home, once you return after the event, you like to think about it. Why? Something beautiful, something interested, promoting a self has happened, but you need to welcome that again, even after the event. Not while in the event. While in the event it already has happened, but even after the event you liked that. That's why I say, for example, say we are keeping our graduation photo. That's why we are keeping our wedding photo. We like to look at it. Imagine that past event, how beautifully you were there, and how everybody has wished and appreciated and clapped and all that. Self-promotion is strongly available. Self-view is strongly promoted. We again and again highlight it. So this is how we are living. I mean, everywhere sakkaya ditthi. So we think, okay, I am coming to Kalalgoda for 5 years now, so I should have completely cut off sakkaya ditthi now. If not, this is not the proper place for me. I should look for a different place. Still, I couldn't overcome sakkaya ditthi. But we were continuously promoting sakkaya ditthi. So if we are expecting within 1 year, okay, after coming to Kalalgoda, going to Nissarana, I should be completely free from sakkaya ditthi. You need to look at from yourself. You need to ask from yourself, what so far I was promoting, what currently I am promoting, isn't it? It is not the teacher, it is not the Dhamma. So what I am promoting so far. So currently what I am taking as a person, where am I taking as strongly as myself? So we need to look at our own mind. Where I again go and ignorantly prepare a person, making a personality view. Either we may be taking immediately the body as myself, or either we are directly relating it as belong to myself, or inside myself there is a body, or inside the body there is myself. So different ways that Buddha elaborate, many different subtle ways. So very, very intricately things are kind of viewed. So that's why, in a way, easy to see the compactness and later scatter the whole thing. But actually the form aggregate in that sense easy, but the feelings, the perceptions, formations, those are even more trivial, more rather than trivial we can say more tricky, more subtle. We have to work through the mind heavily, carefully. Then only we can see how we are making a self. And for that we have to be very honest. We have to be very wise. And we have to be very innocent also. So if we are conceited, then easily we might making a self telling that I am a Sotapanna. I'll conclude it telling a statement made by the most venerable Maharishi Jnanarama Thero, and he simply say, if someone is coming and telling I am a Sotapanna, you should know he is not a Sotapanna. Simple as that. Okay, with that we'll conclude today's Dhamma sermon. We'll look forward to continue the same series on tomorrow. Thank you very much for attentive listening. Okay, we already did the sharing of merits for the given, so the people who participated in the dana, and now we'll recite the traditional verses and conclude our session. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. එත්තාවතාච අම්හෙහි සම්බතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පදං සබ්බේ සත්තා අනුමෝදන්තු සබ්බ සම්පatti සිද්ධියා ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ශාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු දේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවා නාග මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්ඛන්තු මම් පරං ඉදං වෝ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං වෝ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදං වෝ ඥාතීනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා සාදු සාදු සාදු